Hello and welcome to another update video on ADA. I'm here on the daily chart at the moment. I don't think it makes sense to really focus too much on the smaller time frame structures. We're gonna take a look at the end, or in the video, to take a look at, do we see any meaningful reversal signals? But ADA, I mean, honestly, ADA moved back into larger degree support, yeah, and again, it is one of those charts, I think, where we have some small differences between different exchanges, but I have always used Kraken here for ADA's chart. And on the Kraken chart, the price reacted exactly to the 61.8 retracement of our larger support box. That's been on the chart for a long time. Needless to say that probably if anybody had any limit orders set in this support area, they probably weren't triggered. I'd be surprised. Let me know in the comments if they were, if you actually had some limit orders there. But I think people didn't expect such a sharp decline. I mean, there was another support area in between, right? And the market just sliced through it, so it was probably impossible to catch. However, this is typically like you always get like some people who have very low limit orders, so maybe some of you have. Let me know if they triggered and which exchange it was. I'd be interested because not all exchanges worked well on Friday. But what I want to communicate with this is still a three-wave decline. And we have seen a substantial recovery from the low. And this is still a support area that held and was relevant for this cycle. I'm even hesitant. I'm hesitant to call it a bull market because ADA, if this really is a B wave, then it's technically not a bull market. Now, Bitcoin bull market, yes. ADA bull market, I'm not so sure. But we're tracking here a diagonal pattern to the upside or a B wave. Both are fragile, yeah, and which makes a move like that, to be honest, not impossible and not surprising either. You just can't predict something like that when it happens. But that often happens in these structures which are not impulsive. Yeah, I mentioned it, I think, in the Bitcoin or Ethereum video today. The charts, the coins that are moving in impulses, they haven't really been that much affected. Like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like Solana. Even though Solana locally is also in a diagonal, but still overall larger degree an impulse. And BNB, for example. Yeah, there are a few others, but overall, the ones that are moving, well, in diagonal patterns or corrections, like ADA, they suffered really a lot. I mean, ADA dropped from this top round about 52%. I think on Binance, probably even more. I mean, the Binance charts were completely messed up. Where's the Binance chart? Here. It dropped even down to 28 cents. Oh, let's compare that to the Kraken one. But here, yeah, 70%. Well, that difference is not as massive as on some other coins, right? Sui on the Binance chart, the Sui chart dropped like to 55 cents. Ridiculous. On many other charts, it didn't. So Binance, I think, messed up big time. Got Binanced on Friday. I can tell you that. But yeah, see, on the Binance chart, we would have dropped below support. Kraken's chart kind of supports this idea here, yeah, where the low formed around 41 cents, 42 cents. We can also compare it to Coinbase. I trust the Coinbase charts a little more. Now, funny or not so funny, it only dropped to 61 cents. So what do we believe, right? What do we trust? It's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm not using the Coinbase chart because it's kind of incomplete. It doesn't give us all the data. So Kraken's chart does. And so, look, Coinbase never broke the channel. But what can we do, right? So this is unfortunately a situation in crypto. This is why crypto is higher risk, also because of events like that. Where do you now measure the low from? Which is why I said we now have to wait a little bit before we put microstructures onto the chart. I think we have to have like a holistic picture, you could say, from the market. We need to understand what Bitcoin dominance is doing, which did what it was supposed to do in October. Yeah, we were bullish on Bitcoin dominance in October, clearly communicated. Also, from an Elliott wave point of view, it was worth being bullish on Bitcoin dominance in October. So that's not, we haven't got a decline there yet, really. Here on the ADA chart, we just need to be aware that there are different exchanges with different low points. So maybe once we start to see proper structures develop from the lows, we can decide which one we want to use, but it will depend on how the market is moving at the moment. All we are doing is we are holding in the channel. And to be honest, we're still holding in that ascending price channel. Yeah, it broke, but only briefly. And I think Coinbase is not really. So we're still holding, but the situation, guys, the situation hasn't really shifted. Why? Because we haven't broken above the yellow trend line yet. And for weeks and weeks, I've been telling you we need to get above this yellow trend line to even consider that we're in a meaningful breakout to the upside. Until then, the price is capped. So it remains my view that to really get the next leg up and running, right, we need to get a break above this trend line, which is currently coming in around 93, 94 cents. So that's what I'm going to watch for. Let's also take a quick look at the ADA short-term chart. But you can see here, I mean, if I go to the 1 hour, there is nothing really that is, that we really can do here. Especially if I just draw fibs. I mean, which low do I use to draw the fib? I mean, here on the Kraken chart, I would draw it like that. But then if we use Coinbase, which I, to be honest, trust most, it would probably be higher. Yeah. And so in the end, it's important that we don't break below the Friday low anymore and start to move towards this trend line. And I think this week's candle close could be very important. For now, we just see sideways consolidation. Even looks like a small triangle pattern that might be forming there on the ADA chart at the moment. Definitely something I'm going to watch for today. I'm not entirely sure how relevant it really is because you can't trust any of these wicks, but it looks like a small triangle pattern. Again, I'm not convinced that we will reach this support zone because it's kind of not so meaningful because of the position of that swing low. Which one do I use? Do I use Binance's? Do I use Coinbase's or the one from the Kraken chart? So that is something, unfortunately, that there is no real answer to. Yeah. There is no real answer to, and that has to be reflected in any trading strategy. Be careful, be more careful, cautious, maybe wait for some structures to build first before acting on the micro levels. Larger time frame, I think at least is pretty clear. We haven't broken any meaningful support, not on the larger time frames. The patterns are still largely intact. And I keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in additional updates, check out our member live stream. We're going to run our weekly member live session every Sunday. It's usually quite busy, very popular. I imagine it will be very popular and busy today as well. If you want to join, check it out. You can join as an MCO member, join the MCO family. It's 5 p.m. UTC. We're running the stream. We're going to take a look at least, I would say, 40 altcoins. I reply to questions, give some education. We'll talk about the market structures. We'll go through the jungle of the altcoins and see what next week might bring. So it's a great preparation for the following week. You can also join Discord as a gold member. Check it out. See you over there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.